Hey folks, this is Kelani. One of the more exciting features that we've been introduced to recently is allied races. Sure, they're not a fully new set of races, they don't have as much customization as a fully fledged race, but if you consider them an extension of the customization system, then it tends to feel a lot cooler that we're able to play the Nightborn, Purple Elves, Antler Tauren, or Super Draenei. More customization and more options when creating your character is always nice, especially when you consider things have been a bit stale on the character creation front for a while now in World of Warcraft. So we should be pleased that another 4 allied races are coming our way that we know of in Battle for Azeroth. Who knows, they could add on another handful at the end of the expansion. We didn't have access to the 4 we have right now until Legion was on its way out the door, so there's no telling what the future might hold, but we're guaranteed to get our hands on the Mag'har Orcs, Dark Iron Dwarves, Zandalari Trolls, and Kulturan Humans. We know that the Zandalari Trolls and the Kulturan Humans will be coming later, probably quite a bit later, but from what we knew of the Mag'har Orcs and Dark Iron Dwarves, they were going to be made available more or less at launch. Well, if you wanted to start up a Dark Iron Dwarf or a Mag'har Orc and then start your adventures on Zandalar or Kulturas, you're going to be severely disappointed. We now know what the requirements are for starting the quests to unlock Mag'har Orcs and Dark Iron Dwarves, so you can create them as playable characters. And if you weren't a fan of how we unlocked our current allied races, you might want to close your eyes for this one. So the main problem a lot of people had with allied races right now is the reputation requirements. Sure, complete the story quests to unlock a race, that makes sense, even though people still grumbled about it, but reach exalted reputation with a faction as well, that's going too far, Blizzard. Personally, I didn't really care too much about the rep grinds. I'm going to grind them anyways, I enjoy that kind of thing, but I can see why some people get annoyed at having something new and interesting locked behind a time gate. In some cases, a time gate that's kind of old. The Nightfall and High Mountain Tauren reps didn't really have much to do with the current patch of WoW when the allied races were released, so if you didn't have those reps already, you would have to go back and finish them up. Well, if you want to unlock the Dark Iron Dwarves or the Mag'har Orcs, you're going to have to get one of the new reputations in Battle for Azeroth up to Exalted. So this means a few things. First, you won't have to go back to any old content to farm a reputation that actually has something to do with these races. No vanilla stuff for the Dark Iron Dwarves, no Warlord stuff for the Mag'har Orcs. I'd say that's a good thing. Some old reps can be a huge pain in the rear, but on the flip side, these reps don't really have much to do with these races. So why exactly are they required? For the Mag'har Orcs you'll have to get the Honor-bound reputation up to Exalted, and for the Dark Iron Dwarves you need to get the 7th Legion up to Exalted. These two factions are the ones which deal with your enemy faction's island. The Honor-bound are the chaps handling the Horde invasions of Kulturas, while the 7th Legion are taking care of the Alliance incursions on Zandalar. They're also tied pretty closely to your war campaign, so without going too deeply into this, because I would hate to give away any large spoilers, the war campaign is kind of like your Order Hall campaign. It's the story you'll follow through the expansion. Your war campaign takes you to the opposite faction's island, has you set up a base in each zone, and eventually strike out against your enemy. The Alliance tries to destabilize the Horde on Zandalar, fighting tooth and nail to protect their ideals, while the Horde is, well, it's not good. We're not the baddies, okay? We're not. If I keep saying it, that means it's true, right? Interestingly, your war campaign actually works in a similar way to the Suramar story, where certain chapters or parts are locked behind reputation. You gain a lot of rep for working your way through the war campaign, but you will eventually have to work on some of those world quests to unlock the next part of the story. So you have the time gate of working through a reputation, which also has a bit of a time gate on itself. That's going to be fun. You also need to complete your war campaign and get the Ready for War achievement. You'll probably end up doing this on your way to Exalted anyways, but it's worth mentioning you do actually have to finish it if you want to play the new allied races. Alright, we know what reputations we'll have to get, but how hard is that going to be? It might not be that bad. With doing maybe 1 or 2 world quests, my Demon Hunter is already into Honoured, mostly just from the first few stages of the war campaign. Now this is still beta, so it might end up taking more or less time by the time Battle for Azeroth goes live, but I would think that you should hit Exalted within a week, maybe 2 if you're actually trying to farm this rep. If you're doing a world quest here and there, playing off and on, it's going to take you quite a bit longer. You'll want to complete any and all War Campaign quests that pop up, so be sure to check back with your War Campaign NPC often, or just check the map every now and then. If you see the orange exclamation mark in the area where your NPC is, you should head down and pick it up. Those quests will give you the largest bang for your buck when it comes to rep farming with these factions. You should also keep an eye out for the Alliance or Horde War Effort Emissary quests. These will award a good chunk of rep for the Honorbound and the 7th Legion factions as well. To finish those emissaries, you just need to complete 4 world quests on your enemy faction's island, so Zandalar for the Alliance or Kulturas for the Horde. There's so many world quests this expansion, it's kind of crazy. I wonder what our maps are going to look like when they start adding new areas or continents. If you have the time to spare and you fancy working on these reps more actively, most world quests on your enemy faction's island will actually reward rep with these factions. If you're ever unsure, just hover over the world quests on your map and it will tell you what rep it's going to award. Remember, you're looking for the Honorbound and the 7th Legion reps. The others don't really matter if all you're interested in is unlocking the Dark Iron Dwarves and the Mag'har Orcs as soon as possible. Once you have your reputation and your achievements in order, you can go ahead and work through the Allied Race scenario quests, which introduce the race to you and their reasons for joining your faction. That's going to be hilarious for the Mag'har Orcs. If you don't know anything about it, I won't spoil it, but it's definitely an interesting take on the situation. With Exalted Reputation in hand and the scenarios completed, you should be free to create your Mag'har Orcs and Dark Iron Dwarves. So I guess when Blizzard said these two would be available at launch, they technically weren't lying. You just have to do quite a bit of running around before you're actually allowed to play them. A little lame in my opinion. It would have been nice for people to have the choice of one of these races going into BFA, not just as a reroll or a race change option later on down the line, but maybe that's the point, get people to pay for a race change or a level boost. Maybe they didn't want players getting their hands on the new Allied Race Heritage armors before BFA launched. Who knows? I'm dreading what we'll end up requiring for the Zandalari Trolls and the Kulturan Humans. There's a few reps that would tie in quite nicely with these races at this point, but the dev team will probably send us on a whole new soul-searching quest to bring those races into the fold, even though we spend the entire expansion trying to gain their favour. But that's what you're going to need to unlock the allied races at the start of Battle for Azeroth. What do you think about these races requiring an exalted reputation? Would you have preferred reputations that were better matched to the races themselves? Leave all your thoughts in the comments section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. If you want to hop on that train, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.